Hello! This is my first vlog. So today I'm going to talk to you guys about the barriers to exercise. And I went through an experience where I dreaded the idea behind exercise. I was 19 years old and I moved to Australia, and everything there was so cheap at the time, and the food was amazing. And I kind of overindulged a little bit, and went through quite a big change in my life, exploring new things and exploring new places. And I wasn't really thinking about my body and what effect overindulgence had on myself, and I kind of got a bit carried away. Um, and I ended up putting on about 2 stone. And when I got back to the UK, I was pretty much unrecognisable to my parents. And it was funny because my dad had actually lost about 3 stone, so I pretty much put on what he'd lost. And that's when I really started to think about exercise. And when I was in Australia, I really struggled with the idea of actually doing it and sitting down and thinking, oh, what am I going to do, and where do I start? And even though I'd already been going to the gym for a few years, I'd already had a bit of experience, I'd played a lot of sport in school, I still found it really threatening in a way. And I think that was my biggest barrier, just sort of taking that step. So I joined a gym in the local area where my parents lived, and I started going to group exercise classes, and I found that that was probably the easiest way for me to not have to think about what I was going to do. So I kind of just got into group fitness, and I found it really easy to just keep going back because I didn't have to think about my workouts, I didn't have to plan anything. It was a case of just showing up and letting the instructor guide me through my session. And I eventually ended up losing the weight, and it actually inspired me to start teaching classes myself. So I looked into qualifying as a trainer, and that's pretty much when I started studying to work in the fitness industry. So yeah, I mean, from somebody who completely really sort of was scared of jumping into exercise, going into exercise and then becoming a trainer was like a really wow thing for me to do. So my point today is that it doesn't matter how scared you are of exercise or how threatening you think it is. Anybody can do it. Anybody can. It's just you go through different stages of and they call these like psychological phases: pre-contemplation, contemplation, and then action. And I find these stages to be really important. And I think that once you decide that exercise is something that you want to do, go for it before you change your mind again and it never happens. It's never too late to start, but as soon as you catch the notion of wanting to do something, it's always better to do it and utilize the here and now. So there are many different ways you can get over the barriers to exercise. You can find so many different forms of exercise that will suit you. I mean, you might not be a hardcore, high-powered person who wants to try something as crazy as the boot camp. You might be more interested in something sort of relaxing, a little bit slower pace. So even things like Pilates and yoga will help any form of movement. You might prefer playing badminton, tennis, netball, anything. And then once you've started and you've eased yourself in, it'll be easier and easier and easier for you to get into something like a boot camp or CrossFit or anything on the little more extreme end. So yeah, once you start getting the notion of wanting to exercise, just go with it. Don't hesitate, find a group. And it's never as scary as you think it's going to be. Well, in my experience, I've had loads of boot campers who have recently started. I've had 50-year-old women who have just decided that now they've turned 50, they've got to do something. I've had people who didn't think they could do anything like this in their life to show up. And what's nice about my group in particular is that they're all really, really supportive. It doesn't matter what your background is, where you're from, if you've ever exercised a day in your life, or if you haven't, they're all really supportive. And it's the sort of camaraderie of the group that gets that person through that session, coupled with the support from me. So, you know, if you join anything that's like my group, you will ease through it. There's loads and loads of exercise classes in London. You can pick from anything. Just use Pay As You Gym or ClassPass or any of those companies, and just look through what they've got on their websites. They're usually you know, really well reviewed places to go, or just look through local classes in the area. But once you decide that you want to go into exercise, just do it. Just like Nike say, just do it. You know, the longer you wait, the less likely it's going to happen. And that's kind of my message today, is don't hesitate on your notion. Put your notion in motion and just do it. All right, until next time, bye.